Shots fired by police in a Central Florida man.
Call the police, he's shooting.
In the end, 4 people are dead, including 2 children. Artificial intelligence in the classroom.
Now, there are over 200 websites out there that will do your homework.
Universities are learning to adapt. And a curtain call as Heat captain Udonis Haslem plays his last regular season game.
Done everything that I set out to do.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Elena Key.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Monday, April 10th, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A community is in mourning after a tragic shooting on Easter morning. An Easter morning tragedy as 3 people were shot and killed in their Orlando home.
Officers responded to a domestic violence incident around 2:30 a.m. yesterday. When they arrived, they heard gunshots from inside the home. A suspect then walked out of the house and began opening fire on police. Police returned fire, which resulted in the suspect's death. While information about the victims are still pending, it's reported that the victims included 2 adults and a child. Joanne Capel lives next door and says that one of the victims, who she identified as Carol Fulmore, asked her for her help before she died.
I didn't get the phone in time. I looked up, she texted me. Call the police, he's shooting. And I'm kind of upset that even though I called the police, I still couldn't help her.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement, as well as the Orlando Police Department, will be conducting investigations around the incident.
Technology is challenging the way educators build their courses. As DC Bureau reporter Claudia Morales explains, new apps are opening doors for students to engage in academic dishonesty.
The use of artificial intelligence apps by students is raising concerns across schools in the U.S., prompting teachers to use detection tools when grading assignments.
ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence bot that uses a large language model, is trained to predict the next word in a sentence by analyzing massive amounts of internet text. According to Patricia McDermott-Wells, professors should look at the style process of how students write their papers and not only to the final product.
You know, there are over 200 websites out there that will do your homework for money. And so just looking at the final product doesn't really tell you that the student has actually internalized any of the material. But if we focus on the process more, I think that will help to ensure that the student is going through it in a proper way, and particularly with AI tools.
Since its launch last year, school professors believe this could allow students to cheat, questioning whether the current detection tools to review assignments like Turnitin are reliable or not.
There are several detection tools that have come out specifically to judge text to see if it was bot-generated. None of them are reliable yet.
But for Professor McDermott-Wells, it'll be difficult to control the situation as AI tools become better day by day.
I think that we need to look at AI tools as yet another set of tools that we can use, that students should be taught how to use properly and responsibly.
As more artificial intelligence detection tools develop in the future, it'll be up to schools to decide if they should be required for class grading policies. In Washington, D.C., I'm Claudia Morales for the South Florida Media Network.
A religious leader is recovering this morning after he was stabbed while leading a prayer service. It was yesterday at a mosque in Paterson, New Jersey. During early morning prayers, the mosque man allegedly lunged toward an imam and stabbed him at least twice. Aman Syed Al-Nakhabib is being treated at the nearby hospital.
A recent report for Anti-Defamation League show a total of nearly 3,700 anti-Semitic cases in the United States in 2022. A 36% increase from 2021. In a special assignment report, Angela Rivas from our DC Bureau digs into why the U.S. is seeing this upward trend.
The ADL said that 2022 had the highest level of anti-Semitic activity since 1979, averaging more than 10 cases per day. Experts on the subject blame a lack of education and extreme politics.
The audit found an increase in anti-Semitism ranging from vandalism to harassment, and a significant increase in activity organized by white supremacist groups, the highest number of incidents the ADL has ever recorded. The cases increased 38% from 2021 to 2022, from 4,876 to 6,751. These incidents include the distribution of racist and anti-Semitic flyers, stickers, posters, and graffiti. Supremacist groups such as the Patriot Front, Going Defense League, and White Lives Matter were responsible for 93% of the activity, and Texas, Massachusetts, and Florida saw the highest numbers of propaganda distributed in 2022. Josh Sales, Director of Community Jewish Relations at the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, explained that while anti-Semitism has been around for years, it is recently being reported on more in the media, blaming the polarization in the U.S.
I think the reason you're seeing it be reported on more in the mainstream media and in other areas of conversation is because anti-Semitism has crept its way into the mainstream, unfortunately. And I think one marker, not the only marker of that, would be, something like Charlottesville in August of 2017, where if you see the white supremacists chanting, they're saying Jews will not replace us. And what does that mean? That literally means on the far right that Jews are going to replace, quote unquote, white people. That if white supremacists don't stand up for the white race, then the Jews are going to diminish or eliminate them.
Deputy Regional Director at ADL of Florida, Lonnie Wilk, says leaders in politics and entertainment need to speak out. Commissioners in Palm Beach County are passing a new ordinance fining anyone who puts or projects images onto a building without the owner's permission. This is in response to a string of anti-Semitic images on buildings around the county. Palm Beach County Mayor Greg Wise says the ordinance sends a message that hate is not welcome in the city. Florida Republican State Representative Mike Carrazzo proposed House Bill 269 to make anti-Semitic acts hate crimes and a third-degree felony. Opponents say it's a violation of the First Amendment and the right to free speech. Director of the Holocaust and Genocide Studies at FIU, Orrin Steer, says this is a step in the right direction, but education is key.
Education, and education. I think as people need to learn, people need to be educated. My classes on the Holocaust, I'm always surprised. There are quite a few students who really just don't really even know what anti-Semitism is, don't really know what characterizes anti-Semitism. There really just needs to be a lot more education.
Lonnie Welk, Deputy Regional Director of ADL of Florida, agrees that while education is important, victims need to continue reporting their crimes to law enforcement when they occur. He explains how society needs to empower victims to report crimes in order for more policies such as the one in Palm Beach to be enacted.
Society, we cannot create policy solutions if we don't have a sense of the extent of the problem.
The ADL is also joining Stand Up to Jewish Hate, a campaign that will help raise awareness about anti-Semitism and encourage people to support the Jewish community. I'm Angela Rivas in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
The Marlins swam north to catch revenge from the Mets.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I thank you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys.
A Miami Heat veteran shows the Orlando Magic some of Miami's magic in his last game at home. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Miami star Udonis Haslem shines on his last home game of the season. UD is the heart and soul of the Heat, from his days as a high-scoring starting player to his most recent transition into a bench player.
But as the network's Amanda Milian reports, yesterday he got to turn back the clock.
It's the last home game of the regular season for the Miami Heat, and emotions are at an all-time high. As Udonis Haslem bids farewell to the team after playing with them for 20 years, the Heat prepare for the play-in tournament.
Moments before the start of the game, Udonis Haslem addressed the fans with an emotional speech.
One thing that has remained consistent is the connection that I've had with you guys as an organization.
While Haslem did not start, he was subbed into the game 3 minutes in and played the remainder of the first quarter, scoring 13 points. The fans were electric. As the game went on, the Heat battled against the Orlando Magic with UD on and off the court. The team ultimately defeated the Magic 123-110, Udonis scoring a total of 24 points. His teammates, past and present, showed a great magnitude of appreciation to everything Haslem did for them the last 20 years.
You know, he's been a leader in my life and definitely showed me the way on how to be a better person, you know, a better leader, and obviously, you know, try to hold down the fort.
Udonis, on the other hand, was reciprocating that same appreciation, not only to the Miami Heat, but to his family and the fans.
I found myself 20 seasons, 3 rings, incredible, you know, career, you know, father, you know, husband, businessman. I mean, I've pretty much done everything that I set out to do.
With the last regular season home game in the books, the focus now shifts to the play-in tournament.
The Heat will face the Atlanta Hawks here at the Kaseya Center tomorrow. Whoever wins will take the 7th seed and play the Boston Celtics, while the loser will have to play the winner of the Bulls-Raptors game. This is Amanda Milian, South Florida Media Network.
After 2 losses against the Mets in their second series of the season, the Marlins were able to pull off a win to close it out in New York. The Marlins' Brian De La Cruz had an outstanding game, scoring a homer and driving in 4 runs. Marlins star Jazz Chisholm Jr. also brought in 2 runs and 2 steals before getting ejected for arguing with the plate umpire in the 7th inning. The final score was Marlins 7, Mets 2. The Fish will move on to play against the Philadelphia Phillies today at 6:40. You're watching SFM Newsbreak, and we're going to be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Elena Keegan. More news anytime at samantha@fiu.edu.